I am going to demonstrate how to make a trimmed tumbler. The tumbler has already been made, but if you are interested in learning how to make a tumbler, please check out my tumbler video. Here we go. So here I have a tumbler that I previously made, it is made as a tumbler in the sense that it has tapered at the bottom. I can hold it in my hand, and that it is ready to be used. Tumblers are made usually for cold drinks that you would put ice or something in, and they usually do not have a handle. So placing that upside down, we need to center this to make sure that it is ready to be used. And so you can see that as I'm looking at this right now, it is not centered. Please use your own approach on how to center. The way I center my pots is I apply pressure on the sides as I'm working until it is centered. And you can see that it's centered at the top, but it isn't not necessarily centered at the bottom. So you always center your clay from where you're going to be trimming it. So for me, I like to use 3 lugs of clay, small pieces, for centering, for attachment. I also lick my clay just a tiny bit. It's the right amount of moisture. And I put only 3 pieces in a perfect triangle, okay, as I'm working. The tools that I like to use for trimming a tumbler is I like to work with small tools that are not going to take a lot of clay off at a time. I would avoid using larger tools like this, to gouge at the tumbler, which is tall and narrow, versus something that is smaller, can allow for a small amount of clay at a time. It maybe takes a little bit longer, but it's also not going to pull the whole tumbler off as I'm trimming. You also want to think about the profile of how you want this cup to look. Do you want to have it to have a hidden, indented foot? Do you want it to have a foot that is raised that you can see an angle in? For me, with this piece, I'm going to have an indented, hidden foot. So to start off with, I am going to use my larger tool just to come in and trim off a nice profile along the face of the tumbler. And I'm not going to trim very much along that side, but just a little bit along that area. Next, I'm going to come in and I'm going to apply pressure with my tool. My hands are touching each other and my elbow is in my thigh. And I'm going to work from the middle, and I'm going to work my way out to the outside edge, just taking a little bit off at a time. As I reach the point where I'm happy, I'm going to work my way back in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. And so different people approach the depths of trimming differently. Some people tap, and I'm a pressure tester. So when I apply pressure, if it bounces just a little bit, I know I'm close to almost being done. People who have a good ear for depth go beyond me. I don't know how people understand how the sound resonates a certain depth, but people swear by it. So as I'm trimming this, you can see that I'm creating this indentation as I trim through, across, but I still have this nice lovely foot. And I'm going to check as I'm going to slow down, and I'm always trimming fast as well. So right there I can tell already that I have a nice depth of my foot, and I'm going to round my edges. I want to avoid any sharp angles which can chip off and which can also cause scratching on furniture. I'm going to come in with another tool that's a little bit flatter but also small, just to get the right profile that I'm happy with. And then last but not least, I am going to take the end of a rounded tool. So you can see how this is nice and rounded, and I'm going to compress along the edge of my foot to compress that and get a nice rounded smooth surface, which is ideal for you know, a finished piece that's not going to affect any problems on my furniture once this is all done. I'm going to carefully remove each lug at the base. And then any residual clay that might still be there, I'm going to remove as well. That one got on a little bit more than I would like. And then last but not least, here is my tumbler with a nice trimmed foot at a great height. And that, once I sign my name, I'm done with. Hope you enjoyed my tumbler trimming video.